What is going on, my Patriots? How y'all guys doing? Welcome to another edition of Joel's News and Views, conservative news and views. If it's your first time tuning into the broadcast, do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell up top. Please like and share. Please like and share. With that being said, we're about to jump into this. This stream is going to be a little different. I know usually I talk about politics or I talk about, things that everybody likes to take the time to talk about that's going on in the world. That's still important, but not. I want to talk about something that really is dear to me because I want to cover the story in the memory of my great grandmother because this is one of her favorite actors. In fact, him and her would have been the same. She would have been the same age as him if she would have lived today. I'm doing this about Mr. Sidney Poitier. It was great sadness and news to tell everybody that Mr. Sidney Poitier passed away today at the age of 94. If you don't know who he is, I know a lot of young people don't know who he is. He was in our great grandparents, or probably some of you that are, around my son's age would consider your great great grandparents' time an incredible actor. He defied the odds during a time where black entertainers did not get a whole lot of shots, you know what I'm saying, in music or film. And if they did, they were pretty much very limited. But he always defied the odds. He was determined to be different than the rest. And his body of work has spoken for itself. Now I'm going to read a little bit of the article here that they're talking about his death. And then after I read that article from my phone, which I'm going to do from the day while his picture is up, I'm going to break down with y'all what I think about Mr. Sidney Poitier, because again, he is a legend. If you haven't never seen his work, I want you to look up at a movie called Raisin in the Sun. This is what really put him on the map. He did this when he was a very young man in the early part of the 60s, I think in late 50s, where, like I said, a lot of black actors did not get mainstream. Him and Harry Belafonte are the last of their breed of the pioneers that paved that way from us, who were born in the 1930s and in the 1920s, that knew what it took to be successful, aka I call the silent generation. And the reason why I call it the silent generation, because people don't never talk about him. Thank you, Divine Way. I appreciate it. Divine, I'm going to I hope you're following me. I'm gonna go ahead on and make you a moderator just in case we get some extra people in here. And that really appreciate, because this is one of mine too, because like I said, my great grandmother talked about him a lot. And he's just been a pillar of black excellence. If you want to know about black excellence, Sidney Poitier, Harry Belafonte, those are the men that really spoke highly about being a black American and being proud of being one. They wasn't on no woke stuff. They were on some, you get up and get it by any means necessary, and don't let no one tell you can't. So the first black performer to win the Academy Award for Best Actor for Lilies in the Field, he once said he felt as if I were representing 15 to 18 million people with every move I made. Sidney Poitier, whose portrayal of resolute heroes in films like To Serve with Love, in the heat of the night. So, oh God, he was amazing in that movie. Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? Oh my God, he definitely. If you ever heard of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, Sidney Poitier was the first black actor I heard of in that era to actually explore interracial dating. That's right. He was the one on full screen. If you want to see a first real life interracial dating on screen, that was Sidney Poitier when he did Guess Who's Coming to Dinner on both sides. It was like amazing. Oh, y'all, give me 1 second. I'm back, guys. But getting back to what I was saying to that on that note, he was one of the first to explore that. Now his death now established him as a Hollywood's first black matinee idol and helped open the doors for black actors in the film industry. Has died at age 94. Now his death was confirmed by Eugene Torchon Nori, acting director general of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in the Bahamas. Now, this is where Mr. Poitier grew up. He uh, no other details were immediately provided. So he was from the Bahamas. Now, Mr. Poitier, whose Academy Award for the 1963 film Lilies of the Field made him the first black performer to win in the Best Actor category. He rose to prominence when the civil rights movement was beginning to make headway in the United States. His roles tended to reflect the peaceful interrogationist goals to the struggle. Exactly. You get what I'm saying? This man did movies where, and his essence of handling racism, real racism, okay, you liberal people out there, because if you want to know real racism, you can talk to now Harry Belafonte, the real OGs that were black men that was born in the late 20s and early 30s. Why y'all need to cherish these old guys while you can. And in the 40s, they will tell you about real racism. They experienced it, they lived it. See, you guys ain't had no chance to live it. Y'all don't even know the first step about it. But then y'all get one whiff of resistance. You want to go up here and racism. Just go crazy. Like I said, you couldn't make it in their time. Because in their time, it was real. Okay? It was stupid real. Although often simmering with repressed anger, his characters responded to injustice with quiet determination. They met hatred with reason and forgiveness, sending a reassurance message to white audiences and exposing Mr. Poitier to attack as an Uncle Tom when the civil rights movement took a more militant return in the late 1960s. And this is true. They really pissed me off. They did that to him, Harry Belafonte, a lot of those guys who, again, the silent generation, because that was the baby boomers. These were the ones that was fast in the ass. They were the one that's saying, oh, you got to be violent now. And look what happened. They caused more conflict than damn resolution. It's a choice, a clear choice. Mr. Poitier said of his film parts in the 1967 interview. If the fabric of society were different, I would scream to the high heavens to play villains and to deal with different images of Negro life that would be more dimensional. But I'd be damned if I do that at this stage of the game. At the time, Mr. Poitier was one of the highest paid actors in Hollywood and a top box office draw, ranked 5th among male actors in Black Office magazine polls of theaters owners and critics. He was behind only Richard Burton, Paul Newman, Lee Marvin, and John Wayne. Wait a minute. Hold up, pause. Remember what they said? Black people never had a chance. Remember the Wokians say that? I just said that about Sidney Poitier. This man was number 5 highest paid actors of his time. Okay? That means when people wanted a role, they were like this. They didn't go like, oh my God, I gotta get Sidney. Oh, jeez. It was like, hey, can you get Sidney? Get Sidney now. We good. Sidney's perfect for the role. I'm good. I don't need nobody else. That's how it was with Sidney Poitier, because his body of work spoke for itself. Yet racial skirmishes would not allow Hollywood to cast him as a romantic lead, despite his good looks. To think of the American Negro male in a romantic social sexual circumstances is difficult, you know, he told an interviewer. And the reasons why are legion and too many to go into. And this is true back then. Mr. Poitier often found himself in limiting sanity roles that nevertheless represented an important advance on the demeaned parts offered by Hollywood in the past and No Way Out. His first substantial film role, he played a doctor persecuted by a racist patient and in Cry the Beloved Country, based on the Alan Patton novel about racism in South Africa. He played as a young priest. His character in Blackboard Jungle in 1955, a troubled student at a tough New York City public school sees the light and eventually sides with Glenn Ford, the teacher who tries to reach him. In The Defiant Ones, in 1958, a racial fable that established him as a star and earned him an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor. He was a prisoner on the run, handcuffed to a fellow convict and virulent racist played by Tony Curtis. The Best Actor award came in 1964 for his performance in the low budget Lilies of the Field as an internet handyman helping a group of German nuns build a church in the southwestern desert. I want y'all to think about that. He played roles where this guy was really in character, probably calling him every disgusting name in the book, handcuffed to each other. And they had to make it real. And he took that role. He took whatever role that he could to hone his craft. But you got people today can't even take a role that pays them high enough money that's halfway decent. If they can't be the lead, it's fuck you. Because you know why, Divine Way? They was the silent generation. They were different. They felt like my body, my actions speak louder than my words. Today, you got a bunch of cowboys and cowgirls. They don't want to do that. They all want to be leaders and don't even know how to do shit. Anyway, let me get back to what I'm saying. In 67, Mr. Poitier appeared in 3 of Hollywood's top grossing films, elevating him to the peak of popularity. In the Heat of the Night placed him opposite Rod Steiger as an indolent, bigoted sheriff with whom Virgil Tibbs, the Philadelphia detective played by Mr. Poitier, must work on a murder investigation in Mississippi. In an indelible line, the detective insists on the sheriff's respect when he declares, "They call me Mr. Tibbs." In To Serve with Love, he was a concerned teacher in a tough London high school, and in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, a taboo-breaking film about an interracial couple. Remember I told y'all about that? He played a doctor whose race tests the liberal principles of his prospective in-laws, played by Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn. Brother, I told y'all. What did I tell y'all? I said liberal. I want y'all to put that in your head. That's what the racism begin with. For you jokers out here that think that this damn liberal, all of a sudden the party switched. It never switched. They were on that shit even then. So stop the madness. Sorry, I had to get that out there because they be making me mad with that shit. Throughout his career, a heavyweight of racial significance bore down on Mr. Poitier and the characters he played. I felt very much as if I was representing 15 to 18 million people with every move I made, he once wrote. Now, Mr. Poitier grew up in the Bahamas, but he was born in February 20th, 1927 in Miami, where his parents traveled regularly to sell their tomato crop. The youngest of 9 children, he wore clothes made from flour sacks and never saw a car, look in a mirror, or tasted ice cream until his father, Reginald, moved the family from Cat's Island to Nassau in 1937 after Florida banned the import of Bahamian tomatoes. When he was 12, Mr. Poitier quit school and became a water boy for a crew of pick and shovel laborers. He also began getting into mischief, and his parents, worried about that he was becoming a juvenile delinquent, sent him to Miami when he was 14 to live with a married brother, Cyril. Mr. Poitier had known nothing of segregation growing up on Cat Island, so the rules governing American black people in the South came as a shock. It was all over the place, like barbed wire, he later said, of American racism. And I kept running into it and lacerating myself. So I want y'all. Big Betty, I'm about to start doing some reaction videos. I'm probably about to implement that next month. I'm gonna try to put a day out where I do reaction videos once a week. It'll probably be random, so that way we can really get the show popping, get the channel popping. I mean, y'all, let me tell you something. He was living in the Bahamas, and if you don't know the islands over there, and it's been like that for years, they don't have racism. Over there, everybody works with everybody. And when you go from an environment where there's no racism because everybody gets along with everybody, to where now you got somebody that's like calling you the N-word, telling you can't do something because of the color of your skin, just being straight out racial to you in that time, that is a culture shock. I'm quite sure that young man was like, what in the world did my parents got me into? But this is what he had to go through to get opportunity. And I think that's what he kind of did in his mind. Okay, my parents put me here for a reason. I know it's not the best situation right now, but I'm going to make the best of it and push through. And that's exactly what the young man did. That's what you call adapting to your environment. Know the ins and outs of it before you start changing it. Yep, exactly, big bang Betty. Girl, you hitting it. Girl, you hitting it, man. You hitting it today. You ain't playing. In less than a year, he flew Miami. He fled Miami for New York, arriving with $3 in change in his pocket. He took jobs washing dishes and working in a ditch as a ditch digger, waterfront laborer, and delivery man in the garment district. Life was grim. During a race riot in Harlem, he was shot in the leg. He saved his nickels so that on cold nights he could sleep in pay toilets. Now, what that means to sleep in pay toilets is back then, these were places where you had the official toiletries and stuff to be comfortable. You had good running water, good plumbing, and stuff like that. So they didn't have a lot of those places up north or even down south back then. So to have one of those was a blessing, or you would save money so you could be able to do that. Yeah, exactly. He was a law-abiding hustler. Today they give hustlers a bad name. Now in late 1943, Mr. Poitier lied about his age and he enlisted in the army. He began becoming an orderly with the 1267th Medical Detachment as a veteran hospital on Long Island. Thank you for the super chat, Betty. Thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate you. Now, he obtained a discharge in 1945 and returned to New York, where he read in the Amsterdam News that the American Negro Theater was looking for actors. His first audition was a flop. With only a few years of schooling, he read haltingly in a heavy West Indian accent. Frederick O'Neill, a founder of the theater, showed him the door and advised him to get a job as a dishwasher. Y'all think about that. This is what they told Sidney Poitier. I appreciate it. This is what they told Sidney. That man said, hey, I can imagine that dude in his black New Yorker accent too. Hey, hey, boss. You know what I'm saying? You talented and all, dog, but we can't use your talent here. That West Indian accent gotta go. Gotta go, man. Go back to washing dishes or something over there at Shorty's. Man, trying to come up here, trying to get a job as an actor. But he was undeterred. Mr. Poitier brought a radio and practiced speaking English as he heard it from a variety of staff announcers. A kindly fellow worker at the restaurant where he washes dishes helped him with this reading. Mr. Poitier finally won a place in the theater's acting school, but only after he volunteered to work as a janitor without pay. Y'all heard that? Did y'all heard what that man did? This dude decided to work as a janitor without pay. You hear what I'm saying right now? Imagine that. How many people today, put a one in the chat today if you think that somebody in Generation Z would work without getting paid to learn a skill? Would work to go to college without pay. You work at the college without pay. Let's say they provide you room and board in free class to learn a skill. How many of you think would do that right now? How many of your Generation Z's and millennials would do that? I tell you right now. One in the chat if you think a yes or two no. Exactly. Daily Donkey already said, no, they're not going to do that. I know you can, Derek, but I'm talking about today's generation. I'm talking about the ones that are, Gen Z, the real Gen Zs and the early millennial, the late millennials. Yeah, Trump did it because Trump from the older generation. We're talking about Gen Z. I'm talking about the late millennials and Gen Z. Let me put it this way. Anybody that was born in 19 all the way up to 2004. That's right. From 1990 to 2004. How many of those do you think would do that today? In that generation, 1990 to 2004. The late millennials and Gen Zs. I don't see it. I don't see it at all. Exactly. They ain't going to do it. They're going to cry every step of the way. His lucky break came when another actor at the theater, Harry Belafonte. Remember I told you that? Yeah. Nah, Betty, you're in the early part of, if you're born in 85, you're the beginning you're in the early part of um of the millennial stage. You almost was an exennial because I'm born a year earlier than you. I'm born in 84. You're in 85, I'm born in 84. So yeah, we were almost there. You was almost there. If you would have been born in 84, you would have been there. I'm old. I was born in 73, soon to be 49. Yep. You born around my big brother age, man. He in that age bracket. Y'all y'all part of the real gen, y'all the generation X. Y'all was the one that fucking learned things the hard way. Y'all was trying to keep from being like the boomers. Cause the boomers had fucked everything up for y'all. Gen X was mad with some boomers, boy. The baby boomers, boy, Gen X was mad with them fools. What wrong with y'all? Oh shit. Yeah, you Gen X, y'all the one that made baby boomers felt retarded. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Everybody tell me that I don't look my age. I've been told that all my life. In fact, I'm gonna tell you this. I'll get back to the story. Glad you said that I don't look my age. I've looked young so much in my life when I was in the military, when I used to have my face cut, my hair cut, uh, that people used to card me for everything. All the way up till I got the age of 32. Because I started growing my facial hair out, my hair started getting longer and stuff like that. But besides that, if I cut all this off and cut this off, I look like a school child, damn near. Very young man. That's why I don't do it. Cause I don't want to look like no damn young man. I ain't time for that. I want people to see me as a grown ass man. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love you looking youthful, but damn. Exactly. Hey man, I like the gray thing. I get gray in my dreads, so I'm good with that. I'm cool with that. I like the gray. I think it makes us look wise. If you don't embrace your gray, something wrong with you, man. You ain't ready. You fucking up. So his lucky break came when another act at the theater, Harry Belafonte, did not show up to a rehearsal attended by a Broadway producer. Mr. Poitier took the stage instead and was given a part in the all-black production of Listeria in 1946. Although panned by the critics, it led to a job with the role production of Anna Lucasta. No Way Out was followed by a sprinkling film and television roles, but Mr. Poitier still bounced between acting jobs and manual work. In 1951, he married Juanita Marie Hardy, a dancer and model who he divorced in 1965. They had four daughters. The four daughters in 1976, he married Joanne Shimmikus, his co-star in The Lost Man, a film about a gang of black militants plotting to rob a factory. They had two daughters. Miss Shigamis survives them. Complete information about other survivors was not immediately available. After breakout roles like Black Boy Jungle and The Defiant Ones, Mr. Poitier's fate was tied to Hollywood. His purpose to expand the boundaries of racial tolerance. The explanation of my career was that I was instrumental for those few filmmakers who had a social conscience, he later wrote. In The Defiant Ones and In the Heat of the Night, racial politics coincide with meaty roles. Just as often, however, Mr. Poitier found himself playing virtuous messengers of racial harmony in Marcus films like Patch of Blue, or taking in 1965, or taking a race-neutral role in less memorable films like A Newspaper Reporter in the Cold War naval drama. The Bedford Incident, 1965, Simon Cyrene in The Greatest Story Ever Told, 1965, or the former cavalry sergeant in Duel at Diablo, 1966. The Defiant Ones remained one of Mr. Poitier's favorite films, but to get the part, he had to cross swords with Samuel Goldwyn, who was assembling a cast for Porgy and Bess. After Mr. Belafonte turned down the role of Porgy as demeaning, Mr. Godwin set his sights on Mr. Poitier, who also regarded the musical as an insult to black people. As Mr. Poitier told it in his lively, unusual, frank first memoir, This Life, in 1980, Mr. Godwin pulled strings to ensure that unless Mr. Poitier played Porgy, the director, Stanley Kramer, would not hire him for The Defiant Ones. Mr. Poitier, seething, bowed to the inevitable. I didn't enjoy doing it, and I have not yet completely forgiven myself, he told the New York Times in 1967. Let's see here. Let me get back to this right here. My girl said, let me see here. See, I got a corner store. Know me since 16. I don't venture out my hood. Stranger danger these days. I braid my boyfriend hair, kind of tired of native culture strands. Stand for strength, courage, and wisdom. That's true. The three strands you braid together. Okay. Nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Now, if you don't know about Porgy and Bess got a bad review from a lot of black people. I had to study it in high school. My great grandma did not like me doing that. Oh my gosh, she did not want me to take that class, but I had to pass. And the reason why a lot of black people hated that because it depicted black people as basically ignorant and just, like today, a lot of this drama that a lot of us as black folks enjoy and love to do. That's how Porgy and Bess was. It basically portrayed black people as not having a lick of intelligence. And he did it because, like he said, he wanted to get further in Hollywood, but he didn't enjoy it. But, at least he was man enough to say it. Now, Halle Belafonte went a different route. Even though I don't think Harry Belafonte ever won an Oscar, I have to check and see. But he still had a good body of work. But, everybody got to choose their path. And this is the path he chose. So, I mean, I'm not going to hate him for that. He did what he thought he had to do. The critics would later accuse him of bowing and scraping before the white establishment, seemed to dismiss Mr. Poitier's long-standing outspoken advocacy for racial justice and civil rights movement, most visibly as part of the Hollywood contingent that took part in the 1963 March on Washington. Early in his career, his association with left-wing causes and his friendship with the radical singer and actor Paul Robeson made him a political risky proposition for film and television producers. His style, however, maintained low-key and non-confrontational. As for my part in all this, he wrote, all I can say is that there's a place for people who are angry and defiant, and sometimes they serve a purpose, but that's never been my role. In 1959, Mr. Poitier made a triumphant return to Broadway in Lorraine Hansberry's A Raisin in the Sun, winning ecstatic review. I remember that. I don't remember, but I remember seeing it. Mr. Poitier is a remarkable actor with enormous power that is always under control. Brooks Atkinson wrote in the New York Times, cast as the restless son, he vividly communicates the turmoil of a high-strung young man. He is eloquent when he has nothing to say, as when he has a pungent line to speak. He can convey devious processes of thought as graphically as he can clown and dance. Mr. Poitier repeated the role in the 1961 film version of the play. When the rise of the black filmmakers like Gordon Parks and Melvin Van Peebles in the late 1960s and early 70s, Mr. Poitier, now in his 40s, turned to directing and producing. He had produced the idea for the romantic comedy For Love of Ivy, is which he starred with Abby Lincoln. After joining with Paul Newman and Barbara Streisand in 1969 to form a production company called First Artists, he directed the Western Buck and the Preacher. I remember that one. Seen that, in which he acted opposite Mr. Belafonte, and a series of comedies, notably Uptown Saturday Night and Let's Do It Again, in which Mr. Poitier and Bill Cosby teamed up to play a pair of scheming, near-doer Wells and Stir Crazy with Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder. The critics thought little of Poitier's directing talents, but enthusiastic audiences. Black and White made all three film box office hits. Neither audience nor critics found much to like in subsequent directorial efforts like the comedy Hanky Panky with Mr. Wilder and Gilda Radner, or Ghost Dad, 1990, with Mr. Bill Cosby as a dead father who refuses to leave his three children alone. Now, he was given the Presidential Medal in 2009 as well, too. In his later years, Sidney Poitier turned in solid performances in forgettable action films and thrillers like Shoot to Kill, Little Nikita, I've seen that one too, and Sneakers. It was television that provided him with two of his grandest roles. In 1991, he appeared in the lead role in the ABC drama Separate But Equal. He was, man. Trying to see somebody. What happened? Did somebody take that comment? What happened to that comment? Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to see what happened. I don't know what's going on. I just seen the comment what somebody put in and it just disappeared. Nah, it couldn't be made today. I don't see it. We don't have the right type of atmosphere, man. Sorry, it just don't. They'll try to make it so woke it wouldn't be funny. Nothing but what we seen back then cannot be recreated right now because we got too many damn people with soft ass fucking mindsets. It wouldn't work. It just wouldn't. That's just facts. In 1991, he appeared in the lead role in the ABC drama, Separate But Equal, a dramatization of the life of Supreme Court Justice. Yeah, y'all can get that little thing out of there. I gotta go. A widely praised performance as Nelson Mandela in Mandela and The Clerk, a television movie focusing on the final years of Mr. Mandela's imprisonment by the white minority government in South Africa, with Michael Caine in the role of President F.W. de Klerk. Yeah, exactly. None of them could, bro. Sidney Poitier and Nelson Mandela merged with astonishing ease, like a double exposure photograph in which one image is laid over the other with perfect symmetry. In 2002, Mr. Poitier was given an honorary Oscar for his career work in motion picture. At that same Oscar ceremony, Denzel Washington became the first black actor since Mr. Poitier to win the Best Actor award for Training Day. And in 2009, President Barack Obama, I told you, gave him the Presidential Freedom Award. Now, Mr. Poitier's memoir, This Life, was followed by his second, The Measure of a Man, in 2000, subtitled A Spiritual Autobiography, in which Mr. Poitier thoughts on life, love, acting, and racial measures on letters of my favorite granddaughter. Letters to my great-granddaughter in 2008. Despite his role in changing America, perceptions of race, and opening the door to a new generation of black actors. Yeah, they got that thing late, John. I knew you had said something, John. I don't know why it's doing that. I don't know why it's doing that. As I was saying, history pinpoint me as merely a minor element in an ongoing major event, a small necessary energy, he wrote, but I am nevertheless gratified as having been chosen. Guys, this was a legend. I mean, you can say what you want, be as you feel. This man was a legend. This is what a real legend looks like. Him and Harry Belafonte are the last of a dying breed. Thank you, John. Don't let him silence you, bro. I mean, the last of a dying breed. That's why I do this. I do this so y'all can see how much history is out there. I know a lot of younger folks follow me that's in their early or mid 20s. But I want y'all to understand something, young folks. This is what American excellence is. Sidney Poitier was not an example just for black Americans. He was an example for all Americans. He showed everyone that you can make the best out of your circumstance. Where he came from the Bahamas. He went to Miami. He didn't like Miami. Did he go out here and say, and Sam Cooke, exactly. Did he go out here and say, you know what? I'm going to go out here and I'm going to be a victim. I'm going to make people in Miami respect me. No. Guess what he did? He looked around. He probably asked some questions. What part of the U.S. that you can go to without all this racial bullshit going on as much as it is in the South? And somebody probably told him, you can go up north. I know up there in New York, they don't have it. Or I know up there in New Jersey, they don't have it. Philadelphia. He heard these names up north. Okay. Then go to New York then. Where in New York can I go to where I can feel comfortable, but yet still be around people that look like me, but be comfortable and go all through the city? Well, there's Harlem. All right. Harlem, here we come. He got there. He could have easily went with a gang because there was a lot of criminal element back in his time. You had people running moonshine. No, that had stopped. Prohibition had stopped at his time. He was in early port. So you had people doing that's when heroin had started getting hot. All these drugs out there was getting hot. He could have easily went up there. It could have said, man, do that. Push numbers. Yeah, man. He didn't do all that. Guess what he did? He went and started working multiple jobs. Multiple jobs. And you got people out here that don't even want to do that. I know, Miss Kathleen, that's why you getting that wrench, girl. Big Bang Betty, I think if Tupac was alive today and seeing the things that what he has experienced and seeing how black Americans are not trying to better themselves as him getting older, because I really think that as Tupac would have got older, he would have been like me. He would have evolved to be a conservative. I think Tupac would have been a conservative. I think he would have been a conservative. I think he would have been an activist in the hip hop community, and he would have let them see the problem. I think if he would have seen all that violence going on in the city, he would expose it. He would have, him and Biggie Smalls probably both would have. They would expose it. They would have talked about it. I don't think it would be quiet anymore. I think that hip hop would went a whole different direction. I think it'd be in a more conservative, positive side. But when you got OGs like that passed away, That's why it's like it is now. You know, that's why like it is. So yeah, I don't think Tupac would be really liked right now if he was alive. As his policies and his output, his thinking of life, yeah, he definitely would have went on that side. You know, even though the Islam movement was real strong, the Islam one thing I liked about the guys from Nation of Islam, and like I said, don't take this the wrong way, because believe me, I do not believe in all they teaching the racist shit. I'm out on that. But I did like how they cleaned up their neighborhoods. Cause like I said, I lived in the hood where we had some over there, and they cleaned up the projects quick. They didn't play that shit. When they said that they was coming to your neighborhood and cleaning it up, yeah, I know. I don't know if I could ever get him on the show though. I would definitely try. I mean, I don't know if he'll deal with me or not, cause I'm a sinner. But yeah, man. I mean, I'm just saying that what would have happened. Oh yeah, that's how that was, man. They didn't play that game. They took over half of my PJs, and when they took it up, you know what? Crime went down. Our streets were clean. They made sure the streets was picked up. They had you saying yes sir and no sir. They had you having respect for women. I mean, you just don't get that now, man. Now, Nation of Islam come up there and try to take over the PJs. They have a shootout with Nation of Islam. That's why they quit doing it. Because why put their brothers at risk? I get that. Why put their guys at risk? They go in there and trying to clean up something, and then they get shot up. That's why you don't see them do it no more. That's why Nation of Islam do not clean up nothing no more. They stopped that a long time ago. The last time they tried, they got so much rigmarole with these new gangsters. They were like, you know what? It ain't worth us losing our life over. Sad but true. Why should you lose your life over somebody that don't want to change? That's crazy as hell. That's crazy. That's like trying to make a horse drink water. If that bitch thing is thirsty, he ain't gonna drink it. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to do this quick live, right quick, about Sidney Poitier. I need y'all to get in the comment section. Tell me what y'all think about Sidney Poitier. It really, really is sad to see one of the greats go like this. I'll probably be on and off today, getting content on both channels, that and the sports channel. So please support the All American Sports Network. So please like, share, subscribe. Jump in and tell me what y'all thought and how y'all felt about Sidney Poitier. And if you're older than me, if you're one of those guys around my mom and dad's age, around 60s, in your 60s or your 70s, or even your late 50s, tell me your favorite Sidney Poitier movie. Or you ain't even got to be that old. If you're a Sidney Poitier fan, tell me your favorite Sidney Poitier movie, what you liked about it, and what you thought of it. Please like, share, subscribe. Yeah, keep sticking around, Big Bang Betty. I have some more stuff out. I'm out.